Of course, the filmmaker. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, because Cohen.
Yeah, no, clear. That one's clear. That one's pretty clear.
I think it was good in a worldwide sense as far as raising some awareness, but I was in Uganda at the time that video was released and the time everything blew up.
Oh, is that right?
I didn't have good internet connection because, again, I was in the village in Uganda, and the people I talked to seen it, kind of found it funny because at that point he'd been inactive in the community and was living somewhere out in DRC. And they just found it funny that the West was so concerned about this now, where they lived through decades of this and no one, really raised an eyebrow about it. And now it's been done and they're forgetting about it and moving on, and now it became such a big thing. So I think it was still good because raising awareness is always a good thing. How much direct impact it had, I'm not so sure.
What about credibility-wise? I mean, I would think that these people observing, the West is acting, but it's far after the fact. What does that do to our credibility?
Like I said, it was kind of like people joked about it a bit, that it was such a big concern now when it was just no longer actually a concern. So, yeah, probably not the best for Western credibility, but so be it.
So be it. We soldier on. Are we going to see another movement, do you think? Similar? Utilizing social media? I'm a little concerned. I don't see the same effort put forth with social media. It was a pretty good tool. It worked fairly well. What's the next cause?
Social media as a whole, I mean, it operates like you say in those flashes.
Yeah.
So I would imagine there would be something that will just spark up and go. It's like when you see a viral video on YouTube, there's no reason why that cat video became popular when 1,000 before it didn't, but it just is something catches people, whether it's for a cause or whether it's for entertainment, and it just blows up that way. So I would imagine so.
Personally, would you donate to another one of these flash funding drives? Knowing what you know?
I don't know. It's a tough one.
It's a tough one. You're on the fence.
Yes.
How about yourself, Sharosh? Would you put money forth?
I would definitely consider it. For me personally, like I said, Kleos is a very small organization, and especially with last year, with the floods that happened in Calgary, we didn't come near hitting our fundraising targets. A fair bit of Kleos operations this past year was out of pocket. So for me, it's tough to put money into another project when...
take care of your own backyard first, maybe.
Exactly.
First. Yeah.
That being said, we're always looking at additional projects. We're looking at potentially doing a project within Canada, which is a microloan project, potentially with the Aboriginal community.
Oh, is that right?
So we're always looking at different
idea.
options and different ways to help as well. I'm a little skeptical of just throwing money at a situation. Like I said, I'm not big on really that, on throwing money at a situation.
You're not alone, that's for sure.
Yeah, it depends on the situation.
Yeah, I think you're right. Do your research, I guess, is the main message. We're going to take a quick break here, folks. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Aid to other countries is a really interesting subject for me because I personally have a bit of an issue with aid organizations taking money from us, who donate quite happily, and trading that for buy-in for a product which is not necessarily what is their main product, which is aid. So I guess the short form, without offending anybody, is that people be very careful that an aid agency that they donate to has a paradigm that they fit with and that isn't going to expect some return on the other end.
It's another long-winded one for you, but something I've observed, and I think we should probably talk about it. Governments and NGOs aren't exactly lining up to end the famine in a nation like North Korea. And you got to wonder, is this because there's no return, there's no causeway for the introduction of aid giving nations products? That is to say, it's not opening the door to return a buck. If that's the case, do we think political and economic agendas are potentially trumping humanitarian efforts?
A big thing on the comments from each one of the
Rampack members,
sure,
yeah.
Has been about research. And I don't want to speak too much on a situation that I haven't researched myself, but from what I've seen, there is skepticism with foreign aid, because often with foreign aid with that comes foreign influence. So I have seen that with governments. Whether they're right or wrong on that front, who's to say in terms of long term, but I have seen that, yeah, for sure.
It blew my mind, though. I mean, I Googled exactly, I think the words were, perhaps it's not verbatim, but I believe the search was donate to end famine in North Korea, is what I Googled. And to be honest, I was hard-pressed to find any organization, government, NGO, or otherwise, that's interested in helping North Koreans. And it's, to me, you connect the dots, it's because it's a political embattlement, I suppose.
Don't want to get involved.
Yeah, right? So we're quick to donate to nations that we consider, I guess, friendly to Western ideology, perhaps, Western economic stance. But when we get into some of these nations where there really is suffering, again, North Korea, my example, you don't see anything being done.
Yeah.
I think
That's
that's on
disappointing.
both sides, though, because I don't think, and again, I haven't researched this, but I don't think North Korea is very accepting to get the donations the same way that people from the West aren't very willing to send those donations.
Should be, yeah,
So,
sure. You see you think that's the case? You just
I think that's
to me,
part
I think
of it,
it's
for
lacking.
sure.
It's maybe part of it, yeah. But I mean, surely you have to see that it's not that. It's not the glamorous. Well, glamorous is probably the wrong word to use, but it's an unfriendly nation. Axis of evil is kicked around, and I think people are quick to turn away. And if it's really about humanitarianism, humanitarianism, it shouldn't matter.
True.
Yep, you should
Your
put
thoughts?
yourself out there and try and change it, I think. I mean, there's going to be consequence. Maybe, maybe not. So, easy for me to say, but
Yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So, real quick, how can somebody get involved with Clowns Without Borders?
you just basically look up their site, write to them, say, I want to be a clown, I want to volunteer. And there's all different kind of volunteering opportunities with them. But
Sure.
if you wanted to go do an expedition, you just have to apply. But you have to have experience working with kids, teaching kids, performing as a clown, stuff like that. But you can get involved in other ways like fundraising in your community. So,
Sure. So, is there like a seminar to become an actual performing clown?
I think you just have to like train yourself or wherever you are, right? In South Africa, there is Jamie, who runs Clowns Without Borders South Africa, has started doing workshops in his community and teaching clowns. So
That's real cool. Is there
awesome.
workshops in Calgary then as well?
I teach them sometimes,
You
actually.
do when you're in town, I guess.
Yeah.
And how many people do you usually get out?
For clown workshops, 10 to 20 people.
No way.
Yeah,
That's
people want to be
super cool.
clowns.
Yeah.
It's good.
And donation-wise, how would people get funds to Clowns Without Borders? The
Just-
website? Or?
Yeah, on the website.
Yeah? That's easy enough.
Yeah.
What are the fundraising opportunities, though, for local people? Is there, do you have like casino night? Like, how does that work?
Well, usually it's when I know I'm on an expedition. Like last March, I did an expedition. So I actually usually do a fundraiser, and I'll either get a bunch of performers together that I know, or I do actually tour to high schools, a solo show that I have about working in South Africa.
It's real cool.
So I raise funds that way,
Yeah,
and
that
that's
makes
what
sense.
gets me there.
So, Roche, same question. How can people get involved in Cleos, donate?
Well, to get involved, again, the best way is probably the website, Cleos, Kleos, MFG for Microfinance Group.org.
We'll put it up on our Facebook page as well, sure.
That's the best way. And again, we have different events coming up all the time. So I think in February we're going to have like a bachelorette auction as a fundraiser.
Bachelorette auction.
Yeah, we
Cool.
did that a couple years ago. It was a really fun event.
Right on.
In March, I think we'll have another bigger fundraiser going on.
Yeah.
And we always are looking, we do things we're not very traditional in many things we do.
That's why it's going to work, I'm telling you. That's why it's all going to work out real well.
Hope so.
Folks, thanks a lot for joining us tonight. As always, an informative discussion. And you can keep the conversation going on Facebook, of course, on Twitter as well. If you have a topic, you'd like us to discuss, don't be a stranger. Drop us a line. Take care.